Olympics are here. Welcome back to Sound of Siren. I'm Xavier.
I'm Dylan. Welcome back to another episode. It's a little different, and this will be the first part of two parts. Obviously, the Olympics only 2 weeks. First time for 5 years that we get to see all the countries in action, and it's great to see. Das, how are you this week?
Fantastic, mate. Really enjoying watching a lot of the Olympics, get into a few of the different sports. It's a great vibe all around school and all that when the Olympics are on. It's good fun.
Yeah, so the Aussies are doing really well early on. I believe, Xav, you mentioned we were up to fourth place after the
Yeah,
medal from Jess Fox, which is an outstanding performance by everyone, really. I think the swimming is doing the bulk part of it, and then we have the rowing. But we'll tap into them in a little bit later. But is there anything you boys want to discuss real quick?
there's nothing for me at the moment. Maybe a bit later in
Um,
there.
yeah, we'd just love to say really well done to all the medalists so far. Hoping for some more medals to come, and also quick shout out to Ben Cunnington. Hoping you have a really quick and full recovery. Very sad news here during the weekend. Yeah, hope you're right.
Yeah, close to our hearts, mainly yours, Das, but I've come to love him as a player and a person, so recovery to him. So the first gold medal we had was the 4x100 swimming race, and that was an outstanding performance. What was your take on that, fellas?
I think it was a pretty clinical performance. We knew Australia were the red hot favourites, but they broke the Olympic record, so it's always great to see. But um, Australia have a lot of great swimmers, especially on our women's side, so it's just very, very good to see.
Yeah, it was a fantastic race. Obviously, absolutely smashed it out of the park. Those girls absolutely killed it. Yeah, I love to see the girls always carrying us to probably 5 or 6 gold medals so far in the swimming at least. So it's fantastic. Says a lot about the team.
Yeah, and the dominance from Ariane Titmus has been unbelievable. And as of today, yesterday, we had our equal most medals in one day. I believe we had four golds in one day, which was outstanding. Or three golds, sorry, I should say. Titmus continued her dominance in the 200-meter freestyle, and then it was backed up by the rowing as well. So really all round.
Interestingly enough, that same record was equaled again today with three more coming. And sadly enough, we could have had a fourth one for the first time ever if our women's 4x200 got up or Kyle Chalmers. And
Mm.
if I had told you that our 4x200 team would have broken the world record and Kyle Chalmers would have swum a PB, you probably would have thought we were a good chance. But unfortunately pulled out silver and bronze, which are great efforts in and of themselves.
And just on Kyle Chalmers, you did a little test earlier today. So Chalmers lost by 0.06 of a millisecond, and I think you tried out on the stopwatch to try and get zero point
I
0.0, and you achieved 0.14. So that is just an idea of how close he was.
Yeah, I was demonstrating to my mum how close the race actually was by using the stopwatch on the phone and pressing start and stop as quickly as I could. That wasn't a great example of it, but on average, my time was about 0.14 seconds, which is more than double the distance between Kyle Chalmers and the winner. So it was incredibly close, but unfortunately for Australia, we didn't quite pull it through.
The silver medal's a silver medal. Obviously, we'll take it. I mean, I'd love to go win a bronze or even compete. To say that you're the second best in the world at that event is an amazing
Yeah.
achievement.
I think over the next 3 years, Kyle's just got to grow out his fingernails just a little bit longer. Might just get him over the edge there.
Although for our AFL fans that follow the podcast, he has said before that he won't be going to the next Olympics despite his dominance. And after the last ones, the Rio ones, he said he wants to play AFL. So whether he goes through on that promise or not, I'm sure it'll be great for both sports.
It's kind of like the Ben Simmons tweet where he said, "I need to play in an Essendon
Yeah,
jersey before he retires."
except except Simmons said after he retires from basketballs, whereas Kyle Chalmers was sort of cutting his career a little bit short, but probably won't happen.
So next up, the 100-meter backstroke. It was Kaylee McEwen. She actually broke the Olympic record, which was another unbelievable performance. So I know I'm personally not great at backstroke, but she'd finished it in less than a minute, I think. So
3-time champion, 3-time school champion in the backstroke.
there you go, Das. But wasn't it amazing to see it, Zave?
Yeah, 100%. One of my favourite swimmers. She's been very, very good, and hopefully we can see her double up with her brilliance in the 200 backstroke and the individual medley as well, which I'm very much looking forward to.
And
not the individuals, the mixed medley. Sorry.
McEwen, the 20-year-old, was 0.02 behind the world record time she actually set in June this year. So she has both the Olympic and the world record, but wouldn't have been amazing to win gold and the Olympic record. Emily Seebohm finished 5th in her 4th Olympics, I believe it is. So, I mean, she's still competing well. I would have loved to see 1 and 2 Aussies, but we might get that in the next race because today... Sorry, yeah.
Would have loved to see the 1 and 2 with the F-bomb and the C-bomb. So that would have been quite fantastic.
That's a good little pun. Yeah. But we might get it with Kate Campbell and Emma McKeon. They both qualified today. Kate Campbell finished 2nd in her heat or her semi, and then McKeon finished 1st. So who knows what's up for grabs there?
I think they're a very good chance. I know at the moment they're both favourite and second favourite, 1st and 2nd in their respective heats, not the same one. So I think they're both a very, very good chance to at least get on the podium together. But hopefully it can be that gold and silver that we all hope for.
What do you think it's like for those swimmers? How would the nerves be just before a race like that? Not only for the heats and the semis, but the final itself.
I think it's so difficult to put into words. And for someone like us, it's probably not the person you want to listen to. For as much as we like to talk about sports and we like to put ourselves in the shoes of those athletes, it's something that happens once every 5 years, and someone that hasn't been there probably isn't properly equipped to speak about the magnitude of it. But for a fan watching someone that in an event that happens once every 4 or 5 years as of late is just incredible. Just to watch them win gold and even just to participate and get there in the first place is outstanding.
Yeah, I don't reckon you can really put into words. I couldn't even imagine what it would feel like. I just think about, I think it's particularly with backstroke. For some reason I feel it with the backstroke when they're pulling up and waiting. I just couldn't imagine the nerves that'd be felt.
It's amazing to me how the backstroke starts because they're in such an awkward position and then they go straight in head first. But it is cool to see before they break the water. Have you boys seen the pictures of swimmers before the water breaks on top of them?
I think sometimes you see it with the slow-mo in like butterfly and breaststroke when they're going back into the water, and or even when they're coming out of the water, and you can see like the water just above their cap as they peek out of the water. I think it's incredible pictures, and the cameras are so good now that they can catch all of that.
So to the silver medal, Jack McLaughlin in the 400 meters finished 2nd, and he was overtaken by a teenager from Tunisia. So congratulations to him. I remember watching him in the pool, and he started well and then just finished even better. Jess Fox with a bronze in her event, which was women's kayaking. But then today, she finally finished her collection. She had a bronze, a silver. She just needed 1 gold, and she did. I think she needed 1 minute and 8 seconds, and she completed the course in 1 minute and 5.
I think in that one in particular for Jess Fox, it was something that was bound to happen. We know she's won every single world title, everything that there is to win. We know she's got the silver, as you said, the bronze. She won the bronze again, and the number 1 ranked. And for the first year ever, there was 2 events for her to compete in. So being number 1 ranked in both of them, it was pretty bound to happen. So outstanding effort, bringing home 2 medals, including a gold.
And I think it was pretty special having her dad commentate the events. He somehow keeps it pretty composed, pretty calm. I couldn't imagine what it'd be like. But yeah, once you won it, you got a bit emotional, which is a good moment to hear. And when they did the interview, she was with her mum and her sister, so it was a good family moment.
Now, probably the most heartwarming story, Owen Wright, 5.5 years ago, had to relearn how to surf and walk, and he finished with a bronze medal in his Olympic debut.
I did manage to watch this one. I don't want to take anything away from him because, as you said, it was a magnificent effort to win bronze. As we've said so many times, it's magnificent to bring uh, any medal home. But I think, obviously, I'm not a professional at judging surfing, but just from a fan's perspective, of someone that's obviously a casual and doesn't watch surfing at all, it looked. I can't believe he won. To be honest, the Brazilian boy that he was versing, he was doing some flips and all sorts of stuff that looked completely and totally crazy. So. I'm really happy that he did bring home the bronze as an Australian, but that other guy, he's incredible.
Yeah, I didn't quite get to watch it, but I have watched a few surfing events, and I do like it as an inclusion to the Olympics. I don't think any of the sports really so far have missed. There was a bit of talk about not sure if skating or baseball would fit in, but I don't think there's really been a miss so far. So it's been good to see. And surfing and skating, they've been professional sports for a long time. So it's good that they get recognised at the top level in the Olympics too.
Other events that we finished bronze were the 4x100 meter relay for freestyle for men's. There was the 4x200 meter freestyle relay, and then the Australian rowing for men's and women's quadruple sculls.
They were actually fantastic, particularly the women's one. I'm not sure if you guys watched it, but they were coming last, I think, with not very long to go. And second and third absolutely collapsed. They just stopped in their place, and yeah, the team just absolutely flew home to take that bronze. So that was very exciting to see. But yeah, Germany and Netherlands absolutely fumbled the bag there. So it's interesting to see.
I don't know too much about rowing myself, so I don't want to comment too much. Other than the men's quadruples, that was incredible. Darcy and I watched that in our PE lesson. Our teacher put it up on the big screen, and for the last probably 10, 20 meters, it was neck and neck, and we got over the line, and our class was going pretty crazy. So that was magnificent. My favorite moment so far.
Big man Jono was jumping around and getting very excited. It was great to see. He did the Dean Boxall. It was good to see. Ultimate Warrior.
And in the men's freestyle relay, Kyle Chalmers brought us back from 6th or 7th on the final turn to finish bronze as well. So a huge effort by them. And probably an event that hasn't been talked about as much is Rowan Dennis. So he returned to his cycling career, and he finished 3rd in the cycling time trial, which is pretty impressive. Just to return after a break 3 years ago, reflected on it, and well done, bronze medal.
That's one that I didn't get to watch, unfortunately, but as you said, and as we've said so many times, any medal is magnificent, and to come back and win a bronze is just perfect.
Yeah, Richie Paul was also a chance in that one, the Aussie. That was a bit disappointing for Richie. He didn't do as well as he hoped, but it was good to see Dennis get up and about for that one. And Roglic actually won that one by far. I'm not sure if you guys are cycling enthusiasts, but Roglic is a champion of the sport, and he won that one by over a minute, I'm pretty sure. Whereas between 6th to 10th, it was only within about 20 seconds. So Roglic absolutely destroyed that one, and I don't think there was really anyone else who had a chance of gold for there.
I'll tell you what is enjoyable, and that's the triathlons. I know Australia didn't finish, but I woke up 7:30 to watch it, and it's the amount of skills they have to have. They have cycling, swimming, and then obviously running, and just to mold those three together. And if you try it, you go for a swim and then try to run afterwards, you're just exhausted. So the fight that they have to show to finish 1st or 2nd or 3rd is unbelievable. But Zave, I want to know what your favourite moment from this Olympics has been so far. Obviously 1 week in, and whether it be the Boomers, which we haven't touched on yet, who are 2-0, great performance by them, or even the tennis. Unfortunately, Ash Barty lost. But what has been your favourite?
I'm a 17-year-old, and the last time I watched the Olympics, I was about 12, and I was in, I think, year 7, maybe year 8. So I don't really remember that much, to be honest. All of the things that I've watched this Olympics have been something that I've really enjoyed, and something that I can now remember for a long period of my life. So even from the opening ceremony with Naomi Osaka lighting the cauldron to just everything that's associated with the Olympics has been very, very good. But if I had to put it into some events, I would say the 4x100 women's, who broke the Olympic record, was magnificent. Titmus doubling up in the 400 and 200, and obviously, as I spoke of before, Darcy, myself, and our PE class watching that rowing.
Yeah, there probably were better Olympic moments in terms of wins, but I don't think much will top that. Yeah, that rowing event. That was a lot of fun. The whole class cheering on, screaming, carrying on. I would have loved to have heard or seen what the reactions of the classrooms around us were in around 10:50 on a, what was it? It was a Tuesday morning. No, it would have been Wednesday morning. 10:50 on a Wednesday morning. Hearing a full classroom of Year 12s jumping, screaming, walking past, seeing their teacher screaming would have been hilarious to see. But that's probably got to be my favorite moment, just purely off the fun and excitement of it. But yeah, some fantastic wins so far. Titmus was also very exciting, particularly a first race. That was fantastic to see. But I think what my favorite moment for the entire Olympics will be, I'm really hoping that boomers can medal, but I'm sure we'll touch on that soon.
Yeah, that will be. I know that's going to be heavily featured in our second part when we do the review of the second week. But if they do medal, that'll definitely be my favourites as well.
And just quickly, I know, Dill, you mentioned before Barty dropped out of the individual. She lost that one in the first round. She also lost her she lost her women's doubles, unfortunately. But at the moment, her and Piers are playing against Tsitsipas and Sakari in the quarterfinals of the mixed, and they just won the first set. So we might still be a chance here. Barty might still be a chance to medal here. So we'll be getting behind that one. That's a bit exciting. I remember watching Piers probably 2 years ago on one of the outside courts of the Australian Open. He was very exciting. Had the Legionnaires floating behind his head. So that was a fantastic watch. I'll be excited and make sure to tune into their future games.
Yeah, my personal favourite moment would probably be Owen Wright, because I've read the backstory on him before the race and then to watch the race. And as you said, Zabe, I don't know how it's adjudicated, but to see him come out with the bronze medal was just a fantastic story and something that he probably deserves, to fight through all that pain for 5.5 years to relearn how to walk. So that bronze medal for him was unbelievable. But yeah, we'll move to the Boomers 2-0, and not the easiest games. I thought Nigeria put up a good battle and we held them to 65 points, but it was only until it was the last half where we kind of clawed away. And then last night against Italy, that was a great battle, a 3-point win, and I think they need to utilise Matisse Thybulle.
I agree. I think he's one of my favourite players. I've said it so many times on our podcast, in particular our basketball episodes, but he's one of the best defenders in the league and in the NBA at least, and he's going to transfer those skills obviously into the FIBA. And we've seen it. We've seen him get 4 steals multiple times already in the few games that we have played, and I think he hits the 3 at a pretty good level. We know he doesn't quite create a shot like Paddy Mills or Joe Ingles does, but I think it's something that he can work on, in particular in the Olympics, and he can bring it back into the NBA. But I think he's got the skills to be a very, very, very good player, and maybe an all-star one day. But I think he can be a very good player for the Boomers. And from what I've seen, he really enjoys playing for us as well, which is always good.
Yeah, it's great to see. It seems like Teese is really enjoying his time there. Makes you think of some of the other athletes who would have qualified for Australia but haven't played for us. Kyrie Irving, Ben Simmons, just to name just a couple. But it's great seeing him out there. I did like him when he was in the NBA before, but I wasn't a massive fan of his. But I think after this, I'll be keenly watching his career and cheering him on, just purely for the fact he came out and represented our boys. And yeah, he's started pretty well. I liked his first game in particular. I didn't watch the second game. But yeah, him and Dante Exton, was good to see them both playing really good defense and performing on the offensive end as well. So as long as Paddy Mills keeps his 99 overall performance up, I am pretty keen on maybe a final berth for us. That'd be nice.
Yeah, well, I have 2 takeaways from the basketball, and that's, you can't underestimate these players. You see role players such as Evan Fournier, for example. He's not a role player, but he's not a player you'd expect to be dropping 50 day in, day out. But against Team USA in their first match, he had 28 points, and it's because they run the offense through him, the confidence boost, obviously, the camaraderie between the French team, but I just think you can't underestimate these players because even guys like Jock Landale, I'd be shocked if he didn't receive a contract for the NBA because he's been so prominent for our Aussie team so far. And I do hope we get a finals berth, Das.
It would be nice, yeah.
I think something that goes so underrated at the moment is just the depth that is around the sport of basketball internationally. Like, we know, as Dylan said, people like Patty Mills and Evan Fournier, they get the offense run through them and they put up efficient numbers that they wouldn't expect in the NBA. And I think a lot of it is because like no one that makes the NBA is scrubs anymore, at least. And anyone that, even people in international leagues like the NBL players, as Dylan said, Jock Landale, even Chris Goulding comes off our bench and provides a scoring spark for us. So I think the depth that is in the sport at the moment has never been seen before.
Agree.
Yeah, just before I ask you what the most surprising moment has been for you, Zabe, we'll touch on the USA basketball because they lost their first game against France, as I said. But do you think that galvanized them into action because they blew out Iran by 54 points, 120 to 66 in their second game?
I think they're still the most dangerous team and probably the hottest favorite in almost any sport that we have in the Olympics. And we know every year they're going to come in as a red hot favorite. The talent that they have, any team that they verse they're going to have at least 4 of the best players on the court at any given time. But as far as galvanizing them in order to win, I think that's happened as well, because the reality is they can't continue to lose, and if they want to win gold, and it would be a little bit embarrassing if they didn't bring it home. So I think they do have to win, and I think that's what they showed against Ireland. I think it was winning by almost 60 points.
Yeah, they're going to have to get a win over the Czech Republic if they want to make it through to the next round. So I think they should be able to comfortably do that, but there's not too many big names from them. Stadaransky is probably the only one I really recognize, but it'd be interesting to see if Czech Republic puts up good fight, or if USA will just roll them and then just walk their way to the finals.
Wouldn't that be a headline? Czech Republic knocks out Team USA of the Olympics.
Oh yeah, Stadaransky 50 points to knock Team USA out.
He would
be a massive headline.
So Zabe, what's the most surprising moment for you so far?
I don't have so many at the moment. I think Brendan Smith was someone that I found really surprising in the 4x100 individual medley. He managed to get on the podium and finish third. He did qualify fastest, but coming into the Olympics, I'd never heard of him before, and I think most people didn't expect him to medal before his qualifiers. So he was magnificent in the qualifiers and then very good again in the final.
For me, the soccer. I was pretty surprised by the soccer initially. The Olyroos beating Argentina in the first match, and then the Aussie girls have made it through to the quarters as well, the Matildas. So I wasn't fully expecting that, but unfortunately Olyroos have been knocked out and Matildas are now least favourite to gold. But we'll have to be getting behind the Matilda girls, see how they go.
And it's not like they've avoided any hard teams either. The 0-0 draw with USA, who are ranked number 1, and as you said, they've already advanced into the finals, so just extra preparation for them in terms of beating the next team that they play.
And the same can be said for the men's team as well. They played Argentina, Spain, and Egypt, who are all very good teams. To pull out a win and a draw in that game is, or a win and a 1-0 loss as well as a 2-0 loss is very, very good for them. And something as I also didn't expect us. That was a very good one.
And into the next week, I know I'm definitely looking forward to the track and field, the athletics, should I say. And I know Australia don't really compete as much as the countries like USA and Kenya, who always are great, especially in the marathons or the half marathons and the 10Ks. But I know that's what I'm looking forward to, as well as the Boomers that sit close to our hearts, the basketball.
Yeah, I think I'm looking forward to a lot of stuff still to come. I think we've got a lot of medal hopes. The Australian Boomers, both of our hockey teams are looking very, very good. Our water polo teams, both of our water polo teams are still in it. The women's 100 free, we've got 2 of the top 3, as we spoke about before, so they're looking very good. Titmus is yet to swim at 800, I think, so she's second favourite behind Katie Ledecky. She probably won't win, but if she does bring out the three-peat, that would be incredible. And then, as you said, Dylan, the track and field, we're very unlikely to win many medals at all. But I think the 100 metre in particular is probably the pinnacle of athleticism for me. And if I could win any award, it would be that, not only because I think, as I said, it's the pinnacle of athleticism, but it's something that Australia has almost never won before outside of maybe Kathy Freeman. So that would be an absolute hero, and you'd be a household name for sure.
Yeah, they do seem to become household names, don't they? The big stars of the 100 meters.
Rock stars for sure. Even like their celebrations, they come out, they have a certain swag about them that most other sports don't have. So I think it's a very entertaining thing to watch.
Probably them and basketball players are probably the two.
So we will review this next week, the end of the Olympics, and we only have to wait 3 years until the next one, which I guess is one positive, but I know we'll all miss it. It's a great flurry of sport. So go the Aussies, go the Boomers. Make sure to follow our accounts. They'll be in the description. Order your footy beanies now. The new ones have come in. The Swam, the Saints, and the Blue Baggers. Go Aussie, and we will see you next time.
Go Aussies.